every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
My name is Miriam, and I am the voice of Stockton.
The Third City Podcast is a production of Third City Coalition. In our show, we examine case studies in urban development in Stockton and other cities like Stockton across the country, exploring their local and regional impacts. Individual efforts play a role in Third City development, and it starts with you.
Welcome to Stockton SJC, right here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. Of course, we like to bring you Stockton information straight from the source, and we have one of the sources right here in the studio, City Council member for District 5, Christina Fugazi. How you doing, Christina?
I'm great. How are you?
Hold on, let's see. We've got to get your mic on. Try again.
Hey, Don, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. I've missed being in here.
Oh, it's been a while. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah,
happy to be here.
Of course, and you're quite welcome, and we're happy to have you. Now, you actually, I have to say, are about the most prepared city representative we've ever had. You're always bringing us more than we could possibly cover, but everything that we want to talk about.
Yes. Well, I actually brought several things this evening, mainly because I get stopped and asked. So here's a perfect example. Today, after school, I took my niece and 2 nephews to Costco. So we had to return a couple things, and then we had to buy a few things. And while we were in the return line, Eric, who is one of the managers of Costco, is like, hey, just the person I want to see. I have some questions for you.
Right.
And my hair's straight today. So I'm like, does he know what? And then he's like, or maybe I should talk to him. And I'm like, him? And then I'm like, you mean the mayor? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so I was thinking he wanted to talk to me about city business.
Okay.
So he's like, what's all this about, a new city hall? Because, there's a lot of stuff around this city that needs, assistance. And here y'all are going and spending all these millions of dollars on city hall. And what are you thinking? And I said, Eric, I'm so happy you asked me this question because you're not the first person to ask me. I mean, people have been saying, are you okay with this? First of all, I want to say, nothing's going to happen to the current city hall. I mean, it's not going to be demolished or anything like that.
Okay.
We have some really great ideas for City Hall, the existing City Hall, but we simply have outgrown it. I mean, it was built in 1926 when our population was about 60,000 maybe.
Right.
Well, we're well over 300,000. I mean, with the unincorporated areas, I mean, I'm sure we're at 350,000 people who write Stockton on their address.
Sure.
And so we have just grown, and we've grown so much. There's only a few departments still in the existing city hall. We have, of course, water there. You can go in and pay your city bill.
Right.
We have the city clerk's office. We have the city manager's office, council, and the city attorney's office. And then we do have OVP, Office of Violence Prevention. But all of our other departments are somewhere else. So like even library, or I should say community services, that's over in the library,
Right.
Chavez Library. We have community development, that's in the annex. We
Right.
have economic development, HR, fire, IT, all these other departments at 400 East Main.
Right. And
We're-
permits.
Oh yeah, that's at the annex.
Right.
So we're all in different places.
Spread all over the place.
But the thing about City Hall, on top of us outgrowing it, it's not ADA compliant. We get complaints regularly during our council meetings that we don't have special seating for ADA,
Right.
needs individuals. We there's only bathrooms on the basement and second floor. So if you work on the first floor, you have to go somewhere else to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And it's like taking a break because you have to go out, you have to go down or up a flight of stairs and go to the restroom. It's not even right there. And then there are some structural issues. I don't want to say like major structural, but, you know, our roof, you know, the HVAC, you know, there's just some issues with it. Would I love to be able to rehab it all? I would. And that's why I said I don't ever want it, you know, torn down.
Yeah. I mean, there's still people who have like nightmare stories about the old city building.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, this going to Marina Towers, I'm telling you, is the best case scenario. And let me explain why.
Okay.
First of all, the money.
Yes.
It's $13.6 million for us to purchase it and own it.
Yes.
We own it
Right.
then. Now, where's that money coming from? Well, when the Earl Hotel burned down, we had an insurance policy on it.
What?
And we received some cha-ching.
Okay.
And the insurance company tried to say, well, will you accept less? And we're like, no.
What kind of question is that?
Give us our $8 million and change. $8 million and change. Now,
There you go.
we can't just use that money for willy-nilly whatever we want. It's supposed to go to replacing, you know, for a capital project.
Right.
So insurance proceeds are going to a chunk of this. We also had a PFF for city offices. So
PFF?
public funds.
Yes.
It's PFF. We have them for libraries. We have them for, you know, sidewalks and streets and new developments, things like that.
So there's money set aside.
Right. We also had a known contingency reserve because with the moving over to 400 East Main, we knew that we were going to have to do tenant improvements and changes to it. So we had money set aside for that.
Already.
So we're talking about a little more than $8 million.
Right.
Okay. But here's the deal. We do all these tenant improvements. We invest in this building. We don't even own it.
Right.
And right now
we're talking about the Chase building.
Chase building, 400 East Main.
Now was I saw the number 40 million. Is that in there somewhere?
Okay, so we're talking about potentially what it would cost to purchase that building.
Yeah.
And I quite frankly, I don't care for that building.
Okay.
Parking there is
Sorry,
extremely difficult.
It is.
It just
It's
is.
terrible.
It's not user friendly. You go in there, you have to go through security. Security has to escort you to your floor because the city doesn't have. We don't lease all the floors. We only lease 3 of the floors, I want to say.
Okay.
So even when I went there, I've only been there once, and I had to go there for a training, and I had to be escorted up to HR and taken to the department. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a bit much.
And it's a bit, I mean, that's you now. The average resident,
right?
That's just like a roadblock.
Yeah. So I mean, the list just kind of goes on and on and on. And when we got the last estimate for tenant improvements, it was more than we thought we would be potentially spending for something that is not ours.
Right.
So that, think about this was brought up, Julie Cox in my district brought this up, about leasing a car.
Right.
Would you sink all this money into a custom paint job and, adding a sunroof and tricking it out, stuff that wasn't there?
Yeah.
If it wasn't yours and you had to turn it back in and then they're saying, oh, you need to put it back to the way it was. I mean, you just,
right.
You wouldn't.
It's a waste of money.
Right. So the like I said, the purchase of the building is 13.6. So you add the 8.8 that we have, plus the million that we have in the city PFF, plus the proceeds from the fire.
Right.
We're well over the amount we need to purchase it, pay cash, own it outright.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, there's going to have to be tenant improvements. We'll have to make sure it's ADA compliant. But guess what? There's bathrooms on every floor. It already is pretty much ADA compliant.
Elevators, right?
Yeah. So we're going to have to do some changes, but we will be able to house all of our departments in those 2 buildings.
Which would be awesome.
And there's plenty of parking.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. We would have a bird's eye view on the marina and Lincoln Street, South Lincoln Street. So if you know anything about South Lincoln Street and the Crosstown Freeway,
right.
with the Caltrans area, as well as our 2 vacant lots right there.
We do have issues there.
We have issues. You can't ignore them. They're right there. You have to go by them every day. And then there's the waterfront warehouse that has had some struggles.
Right.
This would be definitely an economic boom for them to have this. It's
gotta
easy.
eat lunch. You gotta do a little shopping here and
I'm
there.
like, somebody needs to open like a dry cleaning business there. I mean, how awesome would that be? Like, oh, I got to go to something. Where's my shirt? Oh, it's at the dry cleaners right next door.
That's
down
right.
there. I'm like, somebody.
People are rushing to the permit office as we speak.
Yeah. So
file online.
Yes, but I mean, I'm thinking to myself. Plus those other lots, people have interest maybe in developing those lots.
Right.
I mean, there were plans to develop those lots, and maybe it might spur more interest. There is the open amphitheater area. What a great place to have farmers market.
Nice.
On a Friday or, Thursday afternoon before, everybody goes home for work. They can go through there. We can have festivals, and we could put our tree and invite everybody. There's plenty of parking. There'll be security because there have been concerns about the marina and security. Well, we'll have City Hall has security up there, so I just think it really is a win-win. And actually, when you calculate it and you put it into our long-range financial plan, we come out ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just right off the top, just the fact that it'll be city-owned real estate. And I mean, hey, if that one building is 40 and those both are 13 now, I think some people have been confused. They're thinking the waterfront hotel.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we're talking about across the water.
Yes.
Next to
Nenas.
Yes.
If you know where
there
Nenas
you go.
is.
Okay. Now everybody knows.
Yeah.
Right.
The homemade tortillas.
Yeah.
Made with lard. They're so good.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nenas.
But yeah, I mean, and it's easy to get to. You can get to it from the freeway. It's 2-way traffic. I mean, I see people drive around and around City Hall looking for a parking place.
They do.
I mean,
and they're parking over there
because Lindsay is a one-way.
Parking by the Bank of Stockton, trying to get to City Hall.
You mean Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
So you have to go around, and Lindsay is a one-way. In front of City Hall, it's a one-way. So you're really kind of stuck in this merry-go-round. And there isn't a lot of parking. And so here we'll have an opportunity, easy to get to, easy access. You're right by the DMV. You're by WorkNet. You're by the Children's Museum. You're by Weber Institute. You're by a lot of things.
Right.
You get, like I said, we'll have a better view. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on the Board of Supervisors, but we'll have a better view than the Board of Supervisors. Because, I mean, when we had our joint meeting up there and I was watching the sunset, I was so distracted. I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Please don't let us face to the west, because I'll be like out there oogling over the sun and the water.
Let's meet in the evening.
But no, I won't be distracted. But it just is. I mean, I know it's not historic. I get that, and that's why I have high hopes for the next life of our City Hall. I mean, I've thought about a museum, I've thought about a visitor center, but the public, I always want to hear from the public.
I love that building.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. You know what I love about that building?
My blood is on that building.
Yeah.
Because I've gone up those steps and I've bit it.
In the game.
Oh my gosh. I thought I ripped my pants, but my knee was bleeding and the pants didn't rip. Thank you.
I think it's beautiful. I like, the older buildings have this thing about them. They got this thermal mass where, like, even if it's hot, there's some part of the building that's always cool.
Basement?
Yes. I like,
when it's cold,
I like
the basement's
being prepared.
warm.
There's the shelter, the nuclear war, nuclear shelter. But and as long as that building isn't just thrown away, I mean, we could put it to such great use. It's a beautiful building. It has obviously city businesses outgrown that building many decades ago, and now it's just very obvious. And I think just looking at the numbers, opportunity-wise, it sounds like a bargain.
It is, because I contacted somebody at the county assessor's office. So we're talking about $130 a square foot.
Right.
And when you're talking about business, you're market rate is about $200 a square foot.
Right.
So we're getting a bang up deal. I mean, I don't feel like anybody's trying to pull the wool over my eyes. And I know what will happen at 400 East Main. I mean, we're 2.5 years into an 8-year lease.
Right.
So, okay, 5 years from now, when they want to renegotiate that lease because we're paying below market, then they're going to be like, oh, okay, Stockton has some money. Now you're going to have to pay this. And guess what? You're stuck because where are you going to go?
Then you're embedded.
We don't have any options.
Right.
And on top of that is we'll be able to sublet that building while we're moving stuff over. We'll be able to sublet that building at market rate.
Yeah.
More than what we're paying and generate income.
Why not?
We'll be able to sublet the towers, the part that we aren't occupying yet.
Yeah.
We'll be able to continue to sublet those until we're ready to move in.
I like it.
So we're going to be generating income. How can you be mad at us for generating income, paying cash for something, not having a debt associated with it?
No, that sounds like a winning plan.
And, not investing money into something we don't own.
Now, here's the question I heard again from a member of the public. Their thought was that we already have to pay at the Chase building. Is that how it works, or do we already?
We're paying below market value. That's what our lease. That's what we negotiated for. We will, and don't worry. We're gonna continue to use what we can there, but we can sublet.
Right. And right now, downtown is getting hot, and I don't mean temperature-wise. I mean real estate-wise.
Yeah, people, we have an opportunity to take advantage of that and say, hey, we have space available because we haven't been able to use all of it now.
Anyway, and the things that you described, kind of like barriers, would actually be a boon to a business that wants to get into a place like that. You got the doorkeeper, the gatekeeper, and people got to
like concierge,
yes,
exactly. Or doorman or whatever you want to say. I mean, yeah. So there are people that would be interested in that, and I know some people, they're worried. Oh, now what's going to happen? You're going to have this big building, whatever. But I mean, come on now. I mean, we have to make fiscally prudent decisions.
Yes.
And here we are making a fiscally prudent decision, and we're getting kind of beat up about it. And
well, it's like.
But you got to know all the information.
But you're getting beat up about everything, because we got people with diverse opinions, and I think that's why it's really important for you to come here and explain that, because, I mean, and I, again, people kind of choose their favorite council person, and so to hear,
thank you.
To hear, but we're hearing this on, I guess I'm trying to put it mildly, but we're hearing this on the multiple kind of sides of the city council, that this is a good idea. It seems to be a consensus, a unanimous consensus that this is a good deal.
And I'll say, Councilman Andrade did say that this was fiscally the best idea, but he wanted to build a new city hall. And I listen, if you've ever been down to Pasadena, their city hall is amazing.
Sure.
And it's, I mean, I took pictures and video. When I was on the planning commission, I was down there for a conference, and I remember looking at it going, oh, I would love something like this in Stockton. Yeah. But we don't have $80 million. And here, let me give you an example.
We just built a $300 million courthouse.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. And those are because of change order after change order after delay after change order after delay after delay changeover. I mean, change order. So you might say, like somebody was saying, oh no, it would really only cost $30 million. Okay, how many years, how many change orders, how many delays, and then let's quantify that and put a real price on it, because the price for the finished courthouse and what they said it was going to be were two entirely different numbers.
Yes, it could have bought a couple more water plants.
So I think people need to kind of, look at this with a microscope, really look closely at it, as close as you can, and realize that while that might be the cat's pajamas, and I would love it, it's not fiscally prudent of us. And we are just out of bankruptcy, but we have this money saved, we knew something like this, we were going to try to do some repairs, but then that repair bill got higher and higher. Yeah. We've deferred maintenance, almost $1 billion of deferred maintenance, $992 million of deferred maintenance in this city. So
now that's since the bankruptcy or before?
That's up to date.
Okay.
That's like as of January 1st or whatever.
Wow. So there's that much work that needs
throughout
to
city,
wow.
throughout the city.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about the Civic. Like, I love the Civic, too. I go in there and I close my eyes as I walk across the hardwood and I think about the basketball games that were played there. Or
the memories.
I'm hoping to go to one of the fight nights there. I have it marked on my calendar, the next fight night.
Yes.
And I think about when they had boxing in there. Yeah. And I look up then at the seats, the balcony seats, and I think about the performances on the stage and how that place would be packed, and that there are floors. I mean, there's a piano room, there are dining rooms.
Places people haven't even seen.
Never even seen. And I think how beautiful would that be to bring that back into all its glory and make it be something where everybody in the community would have an opportunity to see it and be there and really enjoy themselves.
Now we're talking about deferred maintenance too.
Yeah. So we're talking, we redid the floors in the Civic. No, thank you. We redid the floors in the Civic. We cleaned the canopy. I mean, it's all good. It really is. But there's so much more that still needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about that building and, like City Hall, the roof, the boiler, the HVAC, the wiring, the paint, when I first went into City Hall, there's, the mayor's office. And then there's this little tiny room next to the mayor's office called the council room. Mm-hmm. And it has this wallpaper. It's purple and Victorian and these paintings up there. And I mean, it's dark. And I said, can I paint that room? I mean, my boyfriend, is in construction. I want to have him come in and paint and do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they said, no, you can't take the wallpaper down because there's asbestos, or lead paint, paint, or there might be and then I'm like,
who knows?
They said, just don't do it.
Don't touch it.
You can cover it. Keep covering. Yeah. And then I'm like, terminate. And he's like, I ain't doing that. And I'm like, because it just was so dreary. And I would open up the curtains and I want to see. But guess what? There's huge drafts that come in because they're the original windows. Yeah. And there's no sealant on them. Oh, yeah. And, it's got this chipped, rusty iron rod on the outside. I mean, I bet in its heyday, it was just majestic. Yes. But because we put it off so long, it no longer is. So I just want the public really to realize that we didn't go into this, blindly, that we really looked at all the angles for this. And I mean, people kept asking me because it's my district, because it was important that it stay downtown. Absolutely, essential that we keep it downtown. Yeah. But many people asked me, and I just said, I can't in good conscience find a real reason why not. Yeah. Especially because we're going to own it. I mean, one of the things that San Joaquin RTD, Rapid Transit District, something that, I think is so awesome about them is that they pay for everything. They pay cash for everything. So every bus that they have in their system, it's paid for the day it pulls up. Yeah. That's paid for. Yeah. And that's kind of how I live. Like, I save up my money to buy my cars. The only thing I didn't pay fully cash for was, my house. Yeah. But if I don't have the money to pay for it, I don't buy it. Right. And I think some of the older generation would appreciate that, the fact that we are paying for it. We're not gonna. Right. You're not gonna pay twice as much because you're gonna pay interest. Carry it out for 30 years. That's one of the worst things. I think that's terrible. It's terrible to when you make a purchase, you think that you're purchasing it for another amount. You look at what you did after 20 or 30 years, and you realize you paid triple what you paid. Right. That's why I pay extra. I pay extra on my payment because my payment's like $688 a month. Yeah. So I almost pay double that. Yeah. Just so I can pay down my mortgage early. Right. Because I don't like having debt. I pay my credit cards in full every month. Right. And like I said, I'm saving for my next car. My car's a 2002, and I paid cash for that car. Yeah. So I've been saving actively for my next car, because that's what I think you should do. You shouldn't be buying stuff you can't afford.
No, I agree. I think that to me, that's the part I like the most. I mean, as much as, retrofitting an older building, it's still, it could be very cost prohibitive. But if you own the building and it's going to have a lot of use, that can make great sense. But I never really liked the idea of a note, especially when you're talking about public funds. A lot of the issues we have, like the whole complaint about the water bill going up.
Right.
Ultimately, it's about paying a note. It's not about the cost of water.
No,
it's
we've
about
talked about
banking.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that sucks. Right. That just sucks.
Yeah, because we got to pay for the Delta Water Supply Project.
Yes, and so let's not repeat that. Let's learn from our past. We had a bankruptcy. We built a water plant.
Thank you.
Let's get smart fiscally, and I think buying something when it's under the market value, you own it outright, man. And we know what this real estate market is doing. And I don't know, maybe it's a bubble, whatever, but it's growing fast. And so if you can get a hold of some good land cheap, good buildings cheap, why not? Why not? Right. That's a responsible, and people with money, that's what they do, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that is. Buy low, sell high.
There you go.
And guess what? That
That's
area develops.
It will. If City Hall is there, come on.
And who's to say then in like 20 years we don't have the money saved where we could build a new City Hall, and then turn around and sell the building we're in.
Yeah. And
have enough money to put, to do the new build.
Do that, Gloria City Hall.
Come on, do the flip. Do a flip. So I mean, it just really is. I just want the public, like I said, I just want them to realize that council and city staff, that we all really looked at this with a fine-tooth comb, and I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, I like that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's the first thing we started with, because I know people have been thinking about it, and people are still nervous. They're nervous. Some of us still think we're in bankruptcy. So we're nervous. A lot of us about money and misspending. We hear, it's probably one of the most common things we hear is about right now. In the city, we hear about money. Money, and of course, then the other thing is the crime, homelessness, things like that. But people are still afraid of us messing up money again, and so I think it's good that people are voicing their concerns. But also, when you voice your concerns, you got to have an ear.
You have to, and I love discourse. I love debate. I the cream rises to the top. I think it's important. But with this, I just, like I said, I listened to some people. Some people were, some of the people that, are my friends were just like, heck no. Come on now, we've got other issues. Okay, but this money is earmarked for something of this nature.
If we don't spend this money here, we're going to spend more there.
Right.
And we're not even going to keep what we, we're renting a Christmas tree.
Right. And not only that, like somebody was like, well, what about the potholes in the street? And what about the homeless? And okay, yeah, we still have those issues.
Yeah.
But there's different funding streams for that.
Sure.
Measure K, SB1. There's all these other things. Part of the gas tax that goes to roads and things of that nature. Homeless, we're working with the county. There is hopefully something that's going to come to light this month. A program that hopefully will be rolled out. Working with homeless. And giving some opportunities. It's not my program, so I can't really elaborate on it.
Good tease, though.
But I'm definitely looking forward to that. But we do have an issue, and we need to put some action towards that. But this is different. This is something completely different.
Yeah.
And to think that you won't have to go. Oh, you have to go down the street or 3 blocks, and good luck finding parking, and then you need to have an appointment.
That's always a hassle. It sometimes makes you put it off for another day. Sometimes it makes you miss your close of business, and you
get a ticket on your car.
Exactly.
Because you parked, and that's $47.50.
Yes.
Like, do you have that extra discretionary funds?
No, ma'am.
I'd rather put that somewhere else for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I've gotten some of those tickets. And people are like, I'm like, yeah, I'm paying the city who I work for. And so I'm paying myself, I guess. Maybe. No, I'm not.
No, you're not. No, there's a leak here somewhere.
Yeah. So anyway, but speaking on that lines, of renovation. So the United States has been hit hard with hurricanes between Puerto Rico, Florida, and Texas in the last a couple months. Here, I want the public to realize that the Huffington Post came out with a report that talked about Home Depot, which is one of the largest providers of, things that you need to
building
work materials, on your home.
Construction material.
That their priority is for Puerto Rico, Florida, and Texas. And so if you want to get things for your project and they're short on them, they won't be there.
No.
And the cost of the materials as a result, what do you think is going to happen?
Go up.
It's going to go up.
Surely.
So you better go get what you can now, because in the incoming, years, because it's going to take years to rebuild.
It is.
Prices for lumber,
building material.
all that stuff is going to go up. So if you need things, I would say go start checking it out now. Even though we're on the West Coast and it's all about the West Side, but
now how things are, supply side,
right.
Everything is just barely in on time warehousing. So when there's a material shortage, this one everywhere.
Right, and I'm proud of Home Depot investing, in the reconstruction of some of the hardest hit cities here. I mean, because people were absolutely devastated. Everything they had was destroyed. But just like Hurricane Katrina, we're going to rebuild. Yeah. Well, as a cost of rebuilding, we're giving a certificate out tomorrow night to church members. Dave Cecilio, who's resident of District 5 and has Restore Stockton. They went down there. They took a group of people down to Houston to help in the relief effort. And you think about that, there are. And so, those of you that are in construction, if you're single and no kids and all that kind of stuff, man, they're hiring. Yeah. The people are going to be working for a while.
Oh yeah. Florida, especially South Florida and in the Keys, they're talking about, they don't even have a timeline. Right. It's just such devastation, and Puerto Rico is worse. Everyone who's talking about Puerto Rico, who has been an eyewitness, says it's worse than what you've seen, and we've seen. It's terrible.
Well, I saw some very graphic pictures, and I was just, I'm thinking about their water supply, how their water supply is absolutely decimated.
But San Juan's mayor is saying, they're a few days away from, mass death.
Right. Right. Well, because, you get dysentery and not having access to a place to go to the bathroom because you don't have a sewer system. Yeah. Really, I really can't even begin to fathom what people are going through there. And I hope that with an urgency, we're there actively, helping them.
We got to put the pressure on the public authorities, lawmakers and people like, who have the ability. There's something, some of the issue I know is red tape. And that's unfortunate, in times like this. We're talking about Puerto Rico. We're talking about American citizens.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, human life.
Human life,
we help everybody.
Yes.
The United States of America goes out and helps everybody.
Sure.
Okay? Now, these are our own.
Right.
They go to the top of the list. It's kind of like a transplant. If I donated one of my kidneys and then my other kidney started to fail after I donated a healthy kidney to somebody else, guess what? I get to move to the top of the list.
Yes,
and there's a reason for that.
Certainly.
And so we definitely have to be looking out for, our people.
Now, you mentioned natural disasters and the Huffington Post, and I thought you were going to mention something that I saw in the Huff. When they talked about the most disaster-prone areas, our area came up number one.
Well, the city
we had a heck of a wet season last year.
Yes, we did, because most people don't realize this, but the city of Stockton, the elevation for the city of Stockton is 12.13 feet.
Yes.
So I took my kids backpacking to Yosemite 2 weeks ago. My annual
that was
trip.
Awesome. I wish I could have gone.
17 years of taking kids backpacking. I'm getting a little old.
Oh,
but
man.
We climbed 10,850 feet. We climbed up Mount Huffman.
Yeah.
Hoffman, excuse me.
Hoffman.
We stayed at May Lake, which is 8,000 something feet above sea level. So you really don't have to treat your water because UV radiation treats your water.
Sure.
Of course you want to get it where it flows, not stagnant water.
Standing water's all bad.
But anyway, we're at we're a little over 12 feet above sea level.
Yes.
So if we, like last year, I know we got quite a bit of rain because I drained my pool when we went through the drought. I used my pool water to water my yard, and I drained my pool. Well, after we had that 2 weeks straight of rain and then another storm and then another storm, and then it looked like I filled my pool.
Really?
I mean,
Wow.
I have a small pool.
But even if a fish pond got full in that short amount of time, it was a ton of rain.
It was, and
it all kind of came at once.
And we were very fortunate that only one levee had a breach in Manteca.
Right.
And
Of
the
course,
farmers. The farmer was on it real quick.
Yeah.
And by the time emergency crews came out, it had already been taken care of. But I know that some people have commented to me, what's Stockton's emergency plan? Well, our emergency network is actually through the county. There's an emergency services website that you can get regular updates from. Right. But yeah, people need to be prepared for that potential. And we've had El Nino years. I mean, I have had my basement flood at my house. I came home from Mexico and my basement had about 4 inches of standing water. And I had to go down and, there's a drain out down there.
Yeah.
I had to pull that and get it out. But I mean, we've had downtown Stockton used to flood all the time. Right. I mean, my grandmother was growing up. It was a regular. I mean, there wasn't Weber Point.
Right.
I mean,
That's right.
It was a different landscape than it is now. And with all the rain that we had, the water, I remember the former mayor doing a videotape of a video along the water
at the waterfront
along the promenade.
Yeah. It was on the
on the benches.
Yeah,
it was up to the benches.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, and then you have to worry about it with the it being sanitary and all that.
Yes, and then we the Oroville Dam.
Oh yeah, the Oroville.
Which that's not
deferred maintenance.
Yes, and that's not that story's not over because they're still working on it, and there's parts of the dam that is apparently allowing water through because there's green grass and lush growth where it's supposed to be kind of dry looking and dead looking.
Yeah.
So,
because it's there's got to be water there in order for that to happen.
So and now we're talking about if that dam, God, we're even in the catastrophe zone of that dam.
Well, I remember when the city of Thornton flooded and houses were carried away and the mudslides. Yeah, I remember that as a kid. Yeah. I remember we had one. I was going to say it was 1997 where we had so much rain and it was no sun. I remember when the sun finally came out after like 5 months. I drove my car out to the country. And I found a place where there weren't any trees, like I could still be like in the middle of a field. I drove out my car and I like laid on the hood of my car. Yeah. Because I was like, oh, there's the sun. I missed you so much.
Yeah.
I love you too. Yeah. But I mean, I just literally, I was so happy to feel the sun on my skin. I had missed it so much. But, we've had this, but with the 200-year flood SB5 that we have, I mean, those are some of the things that we need to make sure that we have done, which is widen. It's not just raising the levees, but widening them.
A tall, skinny levee is worse than...
Yeah, because it's going to break. But we used to have the mitten crab. So back in like 1996, 97, you had these mitten crabs that came from China that burrowed holes into the levees that then caused them to break.
So how did... Well, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But
it was an invasive species.
But it's not an issue now?
No, not an issue now. But we dissected them in class. I got some dead ones. And they literally had fur around their claws. It was hair. It was hair. Wow. I was like, dark hair. I'm like, they had mink coats around their claws.
Fancy crabs.
It really was. It was, yeah.
Yeah. So now, like you said, that's county stuff. So I know, I mean... does any of our money go to things like levee reinforcements?
Well,
and,
your property taxes,
Okay.
portion of your property
The county
taxes.
parts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there's state funding that goes into that. So part of your income tax, for that. But you definitely need to be diligent. You need to know, about your property, and what you
prepared.
would do in case of an emergency.
Yeah, it's always.
It might be the only time I drink out of a plastic bottle of water.
Yes,
is
yes.
if we were in a natural disaster of some kind.
Okay, now I know why Dustin brought the cup. I was like, what's this
You
cup
forgot.
for?
You forgot I don't drink out of plastic. That's okay. I don't mind. You're a very gracious host. I'm good. You're a very gracious host. But yeah. So speaking of water, real quick.
Yes.
And electricity and things like that. I don't know how many people know the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission. We're looking at a rate hike and a
Yes.
change. It's going to be this tier, and they're changing it, and I'm really concerned about
You
this.
talking about PG&E?
Well, but it's the Public Utilities Commission that sets it, and then
They're getting rid of tiers, and pretty much everyone's going to pay more.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope that people, that they're not too shocked when they get their bill, because it's supposed to start November 1st.
Time to go solar.
But you need to be talking to, giving your opinion to the PUC,
Yes.
giving the opinion to, PG&E, and I mean, because everything's going up. And here's another thing I want to let people know real quick, is that your garbage. So, people have talked about, garbage rates going up. But I want people to understand why sometimes rates need to go up.
Okay.
Because we have a 3 garbage system here in Stockton. You have for green waste, you
Right.
have recyclables, and you have just regular trash. I have the smallest regular trash, and you might say, oh, well, it's only 2 of you in the house, and then I've got 2 big dogs. But I separate everything out.
Yeah.
And I never have a full trash can.
Right.
Never have a full trash can. I might have a full green waste,
Yes.
but never a full trash can. I could put it out, once or twice a month.
Yeah.
Because I separate everything out. And
Oh,
if
that's wonderful.
things are excessively packaged, I don't buy them because I'm like, that's waste. But what happens is that people don't separate their trash out, and they just throw whatever they want into whatever container, and it contaminates the whole load.
Yeah.
So let's say the whole block at my house, everybody does it right. But then let's say some ding-a-ling, I shouldn't say that, but let's say somebody puts dog poop in the recycling,
Right.
and then they dump that into the truck.
Right.
You've just contaminated that load.
Yeah.
Or if you put dog feces in your green waste. Dog feces are not green waste.
Yes.
Dog
that's
feces
brown
need to
waste.
go in your regular trash.
Yes.
Okay. So what's happening is that both Waste Management and Allied Republic, they're going to be doing an 8-week trial. And so I've told them that I would help them with this. So it's an 8-week educational pilot program to limit trash contamination. And it's going to be starting here probably in the next week or so, to get it done by the holidays. But if people don't properly separate out their trash, don't be mad when they don't take your trash.
Right. Right. Because if you do your cardboards wrong, I've experienced this. You put whole boxes instead of
Breaking
broken
them
down
down?
boxes. Yes. They're not going to take them.
Right.
Definitely.
I mean, it takes 2 minutes. Just in the old days, I used to have to line the trash can with newspaper, because it was the metal cans, and my mom would make me go out there and line it all perfectly so it wouldn't get soiled. So you definitely need, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
And I told my students, I said, listen, I told the waste companies, I said, hey, I'll send out my students in their neighborhoods to do a little tutorial, little education.
Yeah.
Because they're part of the solution. If you train your kids, because I mean, come on, that's probably one of the chores that
So,
your
yeah, who's
kids
gonna
have.
do the work?
Who's going to take out the trash? Whose job is it this week or this
Yes,
day or
that's
whatever?
right.
Make it into a game. Make it into a challenge.
Yeah.
Do something like that, and have them, separate. I even separate my paper from my aluminum, all that kind of stuff. I separate everything out.
Now I heard this correct me, please, if I'm wrong. The separated containers are the ones that got to be right.
Yes. The green,
the trash.
You can put anything in your trash,
because
but your green.
Some of that actually gets separated even when it's there.
They do.
There's work. They put in work to separate
Right.
the actual garbage, but the separated containers, you got to do those right because you'll mess up the whole process.
Right, and here's what happens is, so you talk about the people separating it, then they have to hire more people to sift through. If you're putting the wrong stuff in there, they have to hire more people to clean up the mess you did. They have to do all of that. Thank you, Don. Which then causes your rates to go up.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you think people are doing that for free?
No.
I mean, that's what child labor's for, right?
Yeah,
you have
right.
your kids do
That's
that.
right, yeah,
That's how you get it done for free.
That's
But you
right.
can't think that the waste management, an adult, if you're working for waste management, don't think that they're going to do that for free.
And this is in the South. That's a good job. That job
It
pays.
is a good job.
Yeah,
It
when I was down south, that was like a bad job. It was.
Oh, no.
I was surprised. Like,
Here,
what?
it's a good job.
Minimum wage job picking up trash. That doesn't make sense. This job is important.
Yeah. So I just want the public to be aware this is coming. You are going to get a grace period, and then it's going to be full force. So if you're not doing it right, you have no one to blame but yourself.
All right.
So don't call me up all mad. Well, they didn't take my trash. It's been out there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, did you separate it correctly? Because if you didn't, I mean, that's on you. And I mean, there are people out there that have zero tolerance for others for many other things. You got to do this right.
Yeah.
And read your container. It says right on there what objects you can put in there.
Exactly.
It tells you.
Don't put every kind of plastic in the recycle bin. When your fan breaks, it doesn't go in the plastic bin.
No. I mean, that's
It
got
could be e-waste.
electrical,
Yes,
in
that's e-waste.
there. I mean, that's e-waste. And if you have a doubt, if you have a question, call them up.
Yeah.
Ask them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people there happy to answer your call or go on their website.
Yes.
There's plenty of ways to find out the correct information so that you do things right.
Yes.
And I don't want this to be a dumpy city just like anybody else. I have to tell you, I see people who set all kinds of things out on the curb that the waste haulers cannot take. And so guess what? It stays out there forever. So on the block of American Street, there is this house. I don't know how many toilets they go through, but they have like a toilet out on the curb like every month. It seems like I'm calling in to have this toilet picked up. I shouldn't even get started on that. I mean,
it's cool. If you got something and you're gonna be getting rid of it, you put it out for a few days before the trash comes. Give people a chance if it's worth grabbing. They grab it.
You really shouldn't.
But after the trash, I mean, when the trash is coming, you got to get it ready to go.
And the other thing is, you have to pull your trash cans in. You can't leave out your trash cans forever. So there's another guy I know that leaves his trash cans out just because he doesn't want people to park like on the curb just next to his property, not in front of his property, but next to his property. So he just leaves the trash cans out there all the time. And I'll put them back up, and he'll put them back out. It's not even trash night.
No.
And he just keeps putting them back out. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to call you in.
Yes. All right.
No. But anyhow, I mean.
That person knows who you're talking about.
No, he doesn't know. He doesn't know I'm talking about him because he's probably not listening.
He's oblivious.
He doesn't listen to me when I'm standing right there. What makes you think he's listening to me on the radio?
Hey. Well, no, that's good advice, though. And I think that if you're concerned about rates, then you got to think about what makes rates go up. Now, when you mentioned the PUC, I'm going to tell you why the rates are going up because we're not saying enough. PG&E should have multiple tiers because we have multiple tiers of people's income. There shouldn't be just poor and less poor.
Right.
The elderly, those on who have medical conditions, people who are on fixed incomes. That needs to be considered. And I've noticed over the past 3 years, I would say last year and a half especially, the rates going up significantly every season.
Right.
And
we had a meeting at City Hall. The PUC came to Stockton. I went to that meeting.
How many people in the public were at that meeting?
Maybe 30 or 40.
30, 30 or 40. One in 10,000 of us.
Yeah. So there weren't many, and so But
that's why.
It was an evening meeting there. But I bet there were a lot of people that didn't know, or they didn't read their insert in their bill, or I don't even get a bill because I get everything online.
Everything's
I just
hidden
pay
in there,
it.
right?
But but guess what? Who's ultimately responsible for getting the information?
There you go.
If they provided it for you in your insert in your mail, they've done their job.
What more could you ask for?
Well, I could ask for a lot more. I mean, have public service announcements on TV because I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
So, but at some point you have to take responsibility for yourself and making sure you have that information. And so, I mean, I'm happy to filter out this. I actually, would like to do some, I've been doing like a district newsletter just to let people know about things like this. I have a whole list of things I want to put in my next newsletter. I've got like 4 pages in here of things I'd like to put.
What are some of the things?
Well, like I said, the potential rate change starting November 1st, the changes with the building materials. I have Cal water rates that are, going to be changing. Update on the tunnels, community awareness. I don't know if people knew this, but apparently RTD, the Rapid Transit District, they are going to be making a change where they're going to be offering free transportation if you're a veteran.
Oh, wow. That's
I mean,
great.
isn't that amazing? But did you know that?
No.
So if I don't
but
tell
that's why
you,
we got Fugazi on there.
Yeah. And if you're a veteran, did you know that you can get, when you go you can go to Walgreens and get free flu shots, as well as you can go and get shots for your dogs and exams for free. Well. I mean, there's just things out there that I want to be a resource for people, and they don't always, like when I put up about the mosquito abatement when they were spraying. I put that out a couple times, and people were like, too. I had no idea. They should be telling us these things. Well, they do.
Yeah, if you sign up for the email blast. So now, does somebody have to be in your district to get this newsletter? Is it an e-newsletter?
It's not. It should be. I need to turn it into. Actually, no, I was out hand distributing it. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way how to get it as an insert.
Just publish it as a PDF on the page. And that'll be a valuable resource.
Not everybody, goes online.
That's true.
Has that capability.
But people outside your district, that information is useful to
I know people outside my district tell me thank you all the time. But so do. And then next time I come on, one of the things I really want to talk about that I've heard a lot from people in my community is about, Victory Park, a lot about Victory Park, about the grass is green. Go by there because I told them I wanted them to water every night or every day. I said, listen, the drought is lifted. You said you want us using more water? Well, let's lead the charge and let's go ahead and water every day till that grass is green.
Yes.
Now we got to remove the dead trees that have died because they weren't getting watered.
But the grass does look.
But it looks a lot better. But the thing I want to talk about that I get asked about quite a bit is the pool situation at Victory Park.
Yeah. What's up with the pool?
Well, we're out of time. So, but next time I come on, I definitely want to talk about that. We do have a council meeting tomorrow night, 5:30, City Hall.
That's right. Be there.
There is stuff that we're going to be discussing. There is an informational item, which is the Stockton Economic Stimulus Program that reduced fees to build homes, to do infill. And I can tell you, out of 303 permits that were used for this program, there were 1,000 available. Only 303 have been used.
Is it gone?
No, but it's just an update. But
they can find out more tomorrow.
But but I'll tell you this: in District 5, there was only one.
Wow.
One. And I said, we got to slash all the fees because guess what? We already have sidewalks and police and streets and sewer and, water and libraries and, fire departments, because we have so many vacant lots. And a lot of people are like, no, you don't. I'm like, you're just not paying attention. You've become desensitized.
That's right.
And I said, it doesn't pencil out.
No.
Even if you have to pay $37,000 to pull a permit, or $39,000 to pull a permit to build a house in District 5, and you want to build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, because that's usually what most people are looking for at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. My house is 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
Right.
1 bath is not the business. So you want at least 2 bathrooms. So if you build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, I mean, you're looking at sinking in 150, 60, 70,000, and then you add on the fees, for your permits.
Yeah.
And now that house is, over 200,000.
Yeah.
And so some of you might be saying, oh, yeah, I can afford that. Well, guess what? Everything's going up. So all the
Sure
material costs are going up. So it's actually going to be higher than that. Well, you can buy already house. The houses next to it, they're 150, 140.
Right.
And you're trying to sell yours because the house next to mine is for sale right now for like $365,000.
Yeah.
It's been for sale for over a month.
Yes.
There's no nibbles on it.
No.
But you'd be living next to me. I'm telling you, that would be awesome for you.
That's why it's up. That's why it's up. They're like,
no, they've redone it. They invested money. Somebody flipped it.
the agent's and next door is Councilmember Fugazi.
Yeah, and she'll make sure you don't have any problems.
You just got to open your window.
Yeah. Yeah, you can complain to her all day, but you better not smoke, and you better not let your dog poop on my lawn, and you better not.
And better not throw the poop in the green waste either.
Oh, no.
That's right.
But anyhow, it really needs to be able to pencil out, and so I think there needs to be tiers as well.
Yes.
Depending where, because District 6 and District 5, I mean, it's tough because the property values there are less than in 1, and where the most were pulled was actually District 4. They're off of Alpine and the Montego.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a whole story by why, people went gaga over their building. Yeah. They were like, of the 300, there was like half of them that were District 4.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it was crazy. But,
wow.
Which is infill.
But there's room for opportunity there.
Oh, yeah.
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 Good.
So just go to the permit center at the Annex building on El Dorado, right next to Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo, right there.
Go in there, and if you want to build a house and you know where, and then apply for the program so you can get discounted fees.
Excellent.
Take advantage.
Last time I was in that building, I saw the big marijuana cultivation site signs. Are they still in there?
We can talk about that
next time, huh?
We can talk about that. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
so I didn't get to everything, but
you can't get to everything because you're so well prepared. You always bring us more than we could possibly talk to. You really could run a weekly show. I
just have to find the time.
Yes, indeed. But we do thank you for your service. People, not everybody understands this city council members' position in their call, and you are also a teacher as well. Yes. So you have 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate you very much in your service, and we do thank you for all you do. It's quite amazing, and you've always knocked my socks off. So
thank you, Governor Don.
Thank you so much. Council member for District 5, Christina Fugazi. Of course, this is KXVS, where you listen to Stockton SJC on the Voice of Stockton, soon to be, and when I say soon to be, I really mean really soon to be, FM 92.1. We are, of course, broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can find more at thevoiceofstockton.org. Make sure you like us and all that. City Council meeting tomorrow. We'll see you there. And again, thank you, City Council member for District 5, Christina Fugazi.